Good morning to you. You live in a shoe. How are you guys doing today? This is my attempt at vlogging throughout the day. It is currently 2:21 p.m. and I've just left the house after doing dog stuff, responding to some emails, and getting my face prepped to come back and do a face mask. So can you see? It's kind of like greasy right now. I have this Say Yes eye stuff on, eye gel. It's supposed to remove the puffiness from your eyes, but I found a new product that I want to get. I have to look that up. And then I have the Tatcha Dream Cream on, and then I sprayed my face with this, I can't remember what it's called. It's like this recovery mist. It's supposed to like make your face look fresh in the morning. So I have that on. That's what I do when I go get my coffee, and then I come back and I do my face mask. And yeah, and then I'm gonna take a shower, and then I'm gonna film a bunch of videos, and that's about it. And then I'm going to do a live stream later today. And my friend Valerie is supposed to be back in town finally, so she and I might meet up later, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, oh, and I just threw a bunch of laundry in, which is why I literally have on the exact same thing I had on last night. I just threw a bunch of laundry into the washer. And then when I come back, I'm gonna throw the rest of it in while I'm getting ready. And yeah, that's about it. Kind of just a calm day today. I was looking at some other review channels and like looking at the things that they review. So I want to go to, there are so many review channels out there and I love them all. Oh my God, I love them all. There's this one guy, he's bald. I can't remember what his name is, but he does like a lot of like cleaning products. Like not like cleaning, like spray cleaning products, but like Swifters and stuff like that. His videos are really good. And then I love that Vivian Tries that my cousin Caroline likes. She introduced me to. I've been watching a lot of her recently. I've been watching a lot of review channels lately since I started the review channel. It's just kind of fun to see, like, you know, other people's takes on things. Some people are very, very serious about their reviews. It's kind of, for me, hard to do a review and be super serious about it. I don't know, so. Unless it's something like, I don't know, that you would take really seriously, which I can't even think about what that would be right now. I don't know. I don't know. Oh my God, when I talked about the joke, this is like where you guys crack me up so much. When I talked about the joke the other day that like, why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7 ain't 9. And then I said, I say to Tanya all the time, you know, guess what? And then she goes, what? And I go, chicken butt. And then like there were like 3 of you that said, guess why? Chicken thigh. Which of course just makes me like laugh hysterically whenever I hear that. And then the tail end of why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. And I can't remember the second joke to that, but somebody else put the joke in there, and it cracked me up that you guys were like putting that in there. Anyway, I just wanted you to know that you made my day, so thank you. And I think that's about it for right now. I'm gonna try to vlog throughout the day today, so like wherever I go, I'm gonna take my camera and stuff like that. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. The problem is, because see, I trade, like, I have 2 memory cards, so I'll trade out the vlog memory card for the other memory card. If I remember, then it's not hard at all, you know what I mean? Like, I just, like, slide it in there at the last second, then I change it, and then it's not hard. And then sometimes the battery is, like, dead on my camera, because I, like, try to charge it every second I can when I'm at home. Maybe that's one of the things I'll do today, is buy a new battery. I said I was going to do that last night. That's what I'm going to do when I get home, is buy a new battery online. Just take it out and buy the battery that I have, and then I'll have 2 of them. Which would be good for traveling anyway, so. Creaky Halloween door. All right, you guys, listen, I'm gonna get off here, and I will be back in just a little while. Bye. All right, well, I have my coffee, and I am leaving Bed Bath & Beyond. I just spent like $53 on stuff to review for my review channel. I love that channel. I'm having so much fun with it. Yeah, I bought 3 things One was a Shark Tank thing. They have Bed Bath & Beyond. If you go through the whole store, like, they have a lot of the As Seen on TV stuff. But anyway, I bought 2 As Seen on TV things and 1 Shark Tank thing. And they had some really fun stuff in there. I have a hard time going into that store, though, because they have so many things that, like, I want to buy in all seriousness, you know? So anyway, I gotta come up with my list for tomorrow, because my tomorrow's video for my review channel is like my favorites of the week. So I've gotta figure out what that's gonna be so that I can film that tomorrow. And it's already starting to slide. Great. You love when you sit at, like, traffic and people, like, don't know when it's their turn to go or not go. It's like, it's been your turn now for 10 minutes and you still haven't gone. Okay. I'm just gonna go. And people can... I'm going. Thank you. Oh, man. I'm, like, so calm today. I got up and did my prayers and meditations and let the dogs out. They were out forever today, just running around the backyard. And, Boo and Pee-Pee are such, like, adventurers, and I walked, like, inside for, like, 2 seconds, and Tucker followed me inside, and then, I walked back outside, and they were, like, the dogs were, like, right in front of our neighbors, like, back deck, and so when I walked back out there, they were, like, I mean, literally, I was inside the house for maybe, like, 30, 45 seconds, and I walked back out, and, like, it was like they were waiting for me. They're so funny to, like, go inside, and so I walked outside, and they were gone, and I was like, oh my God, where are they? And I'm like, Pee-Pee, Boo, and I, like, started, like, running to the side of the house, and they were just, like, over there, like, on the side of our neighbor's deck. And they know that they're not supposed to be over there because it's, like, too far, which it's only, like, 10 feet, but it's, like, too far for them. They're such adventurers. They sometimes try to go into the woods behind our house, which is, like, not a big woods. It's just a little woods back there, but they're so cute. Oh. And now I'm going to the post office because I have to mail some stuff. And then I'm gonna come home and do my face mask quickly and take a shower. And yeah, God, my throat hurt like crazy when I woke up this morning. I feel a little bit better now that I've drank some water and I've kind of gotten up and stuff, but it hurt really, really bad. My nose, like, all last night was just, like, running. I just, and Alex was texting me a little bit ago, and he was like, how do you feel today? And I said, I feel a little bit better, but I said, I feel a little bit better. I'm sorry, you guys. But I said, I still don't feel great. And he was like, we need to get you something. And I'm like, yeah, there's not really a whole lot that you can get for a cold. I mean, and I don't take over-the-counter medication, really. So, like, for me, I kind of just have to, like, wait it out, you know, and drink a lot of, like, fluids and stuff like that. But it is what it is. Kind of nice out today. It's 41 degrees. It doesn't seem cold. I actually have, well, I have my Birkenstock sandals on. That probably doesn't help with me being sick, but it's not cold outside. It feels warm outside. And it's like really sunny and nice. It's pretty out today. Look at this. It says right here, at Thornton's, any fountain, or, oh, it just changed, because I was like, I want to see if it said pop or soda on there. Because that would have been really funny if it said fountain pop, wouldn't it? I think that would have been funny. Alright, well, I'm going to get off here. And, yeah, I'll be back in just a little while. Bye. We just had dinner. Well, the boys did. Oh, there's Boo Radley. There's Pee-Pee. We just had dinner, and I am getting ready to make my dinner now, and I am so hungry. I had to go get them more dinner at the grocery store, so I went and got some things too. I got chips and hummus and some noodles, and then I got some more of this cheese. But I tried this kind. This is the white cheddar, and I've never had this before. Have you guys had these before? The Baby Bell. Oh my God, these cheeses are expensive, but they are so delicious. They're so good. When you can unwrap them. They're very difficult to unwrap. They're so good. I love these things. I will tell you the Gouda is not my favorite. The light, well, I got some more of these too. Where did I put them? These are my favorites. They're just light. Mini light. Semi-soft cheeses. They're really, really good. They're expensive though. They're like $5-6 depending on where you get them. Alex still has a whole pizza in there from the other night when we went to Puccini's. He is over at his friend Sarah's house. I'm going to try this and see. This is what they look like when you... I'll try this. That is delicious. Oh, those are so good. Alex is over at his friend Sarah's house. They are doing vision boards with her mom tonight and some of her friends from high school. I just posted my 5th and final video for the day. I filmed videos on all, oh, I just spilled this. Filmed videos on all of my channels. I did a Peterisms video, I read a meditation. Oh, I did 2 videos on my drama channel today. And then I did a booktube video, and then I did a review video. So I made vlog, drama, Peterisms, booktube, review. I made 6 videos today. It was pretty productive, don't you think? Let's go in here and sit down for a second. Come on. Come on, Tucker. What do you think, Tucker, we should watch on TV while we're eating? What do you want to watch? Come on, peeps. What do you have on your nose, pee-pee? Come here, honey. Oh, pee-pee of the world. Little pee-pee of the world. Are you having a good day, peeps? People always want to know how you're doing. He said, I'm doing really good today. I haven't coughed at all. He is being Mr. Begster here. Oh, there's Boo Radley. How are you, booby? Are you having a good day? He said, I'm having a very good day. So let's see, from the last time I saw you, I came home and I did a Lush cup of coffee face mask. Look at this. And then, you smell so good, Boo Radley. I did a Lush cup of coffee face mask, and then I took a shower and did my hair, and then I filmed my videos. Yeah. And I talked to my friend Valerie for a long time on the phone. And yeah. It's been a good day. And I'm going to go meet her at the casino later tonight, because we haven't seen each other and gone to the casino together in quite some time. So I told her, I said, well, I'm going to try to film some of my vlog early so that this is not the greatest view. I have literally all of the dogs right here. Yeah. Say we love each other a lot, don't we? Don't we, Pee-Pee? He said, yep, I'm ready for more dinner. Y'all just had dinner. You don't need more. What do you think, Tucker? He said, I'm still hungry. Are you still hungry? He said, I'm still hungry. Anyway, it's been a good day. It's not super cold in Indianapolis. It was kind of nice all day today. So, yeah. And Alex said he wouldn't be real late. They're doing kind of like a girls like wine and vision board thing. I can't wait to see what he put on his vision board. We'll see what it says. I could probably do a vision board too. I've done them before. I used to do them. Not every year, but I did them a couple times. But then I never end up... Look at his hair. It's so cute, isn't it? Look at that. I mean, I know it's not really his hair, but... He's got kind of bedhead, don't you, Boo Radley? Boo Radley was in my booktube video today. He is currently climbing over Pee-Pee. Look at this. Pee-Pee's going to have about 2 seconds more of that, and then he'll be like, did you see this? This is hilarious. Boo Radley, I don't think Pee-Pee maybe loves that so much. Anyway, okay, hold on a second, buddy. Okay, turn around. He said, no, I like it just like this with my dad. PP said, I don't. I moved over. Ooh, a little gut action there, Peter. Got to get back to the trainer. Got to get back working out. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I always do like vision boards, and then they end up just like kind of like behind like a cabinet or down in the basement or something. So there's really like no point to it for me, you know? What do you think? But he said, I like a vision board. What would you put on your vision board? Lots of dinner and lots of bones and more dinner and more bones. Boo Radley, do you remember all the times back in the day that you would always take trips to Hawaii? And he goes, oh, I have trips planned right now. Where do you, don't even worry about it. I'm my own person. You're your own person. Where do you have a trip planned to? I think I'm gonna go to Hawaii. Don't even worry about it. You're gonna go to Hawaii again? You always have so much money to go to Hawaii. How do you have so much money? Oh, I got lots of gold coins. Don't even worry about it. You have gold coins? Where do you get them from? Oh, I'm so wealthy. Don't even worry about it. Where do you get your gold coins from, Boo Radley? Oh, I just keep them in a bank, you know, or under my pillow in a sock. Under your pillow in a sock? Yeah. Where are you going to stay when you go to Hawaii? Well... He don't have no gold. I have lots of gold. Don't even worry about it, Tucker. That's why I never take you. Well, where are you going to stay? Well, I'll probably stay in a treehouse somewhere and swim with the fish. I'm gonna snorkel. You're going to snorkel? Yeah, I love to snorkel. Well, what are you going to eat at night? Oh, probably just a pineapple or something. I do like to do the hula dancing. This means more. This watch. He'll put his hand in her. This means give me more rubs, give me more rubs. You are the most kissingest dog in the whole world. Do you know that? Where's Pee-Pee? Where's Pee-Pee? He said, I'm right here, Dad. They all fight for my attention. Is it not totally hilarious? What, Pee-Pee? I turned off the camera when I was trying to do it. What'd you say, Pee-Pee? He said, get these dogs out of here. They're driving me crazy. Is that what you said? He said, I love my dad so much. Pee-Pee, look how sweet you are. Aww. What do you want to do tonight? Do you want to watch a movie? Should we watch a movie? Yeah. We just kind of like to relax. I still have the Christmas tree up. I should probably take some video of the Christmas tree since I really haven't. Here's the Christmas tree. And then here's the boxes right over here where the Christmas tree needs to go. And the boxes have been up there the entire time the Christmas tree's been up there. It's kind of pretty though. There's a little reading spot. Oh, Boo Radley's doing some dancing. Well, it could be a little reading spot for you, I guess. What are you doing? What are you dancing? So yeah. Anyway, I am going to go and eat something for dinner now. And what are you doing, huh? I'm gonna go eat dinner and I will be back a little bit later. Hello, I'm back for a little bit more vlog. It is 10:57 p.m. and it is 32 degrees outside. Alex is on his way home from Sarah's and I just got done eating and watching Project Runway, which was really, really good. If you haven't watched Project Runway this season and you're gonna watch it, I don't wanna ruin it for you. But it's like an all-star season. And so it's very, very cool. I've seen every episode of Project Runway. I love that show. So anyway, I was supposed to save it for Alex, but I was like, I'm gonna watch it. I had nothing else to watch, so I'll watch it again with him. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to meet Valerie at the casino at midnight. So I'm trying to vlog a little bit more. I'm trying to vlog a little bit now. And this vlog will probably be shorter because I'm gonna get it done, like most of it now, and then I'm gonna go home and change and put on like a hoodie or something. Well, probably just the shirt I was wearing earlier today because I just got all my laundry done except for that shirt that I was, the red plaid shirt that I was wearing earlier today. That's the only shirt that I didn't wash out of everything. So I got all my laundry folded and washed. And I was like super, super productive today, yesterday and today. Got videos up on all my channels and cleaned a little bit. And I mean, got my prayers, meditations done, did a face mask, got my coffee. Like that stuff's like not difficult, right? Like those aren't really like errands, you know. Got stuff mailed at the post office and just was talking to Mel from my book club, and I guess I could just call her Mel now since she's my friend. She's not just from the book club, but, and she was asking me, she's like, do you feel any better? And I was like, I feel a little bit better. It kind of comes and goes. Like, I feel, like, I don't feel as sick as I felt yesterday, but my nose has still been kind of, like, clogged and runny today a little bit, so. But I guess I feel better than I did. So, anyway, yeah, that's about it. And, I was going to lay down for an hour, but I was afraid that if I did, I would wake up at, like, 1:30 in the morning, and I told Valerie that I would meet her at midnight, so. I'm going to vlog for, like, a half an hour and then go home and, change real quick, and then I'll be on the road to go meet her. While I'm doing this, I'm gonna get, well, I just actually, I don't need to stop now, I just got money out from the bank. So, and I do want to get something to drink, like a cup of coffee or something on the way up there. I'm a little tired tonight, though. The dogs were so cute. I took a picture and sent it to Alex. Like, I put this blanket down, for pee-pee while I was eating, like, on the couch, and he, like, I took a video of it and sent it to Alex, and then Tucker came over and laid down literally, like, right next to pee-pee. They were, like, right like this, and it was so sweet, and I took a picture and I sent it to Alex, and I said, sweet babies, and he said they are. So anyway, our babies are so sweet. But anyway, yeah, it's been my day, and one of the reasons why I'm vlogging early is because I really want to listen to my audiobook on the way to the casino and back. I'm listening to Sadie. I can't remember who it's by. I said last night, but it is so good, you guys. And the audio version is so weird. It's like kind of told like a podcast, and then it's kind of told like a personal story from a personal point of view from Sadie, and it's just it's interesting. And then it has like a cast of characters to it, so like each of the characters like is a different actor or actress that's playing that part. So it's kind of like listening to like theater, so to speak. It's really good though. I'm gonna sneeze, hold on. Thank you. I still have my Kleenex in here. Well, my napkins from last night. And it's really good though. So yeah, I'm kind of over being sick. It's 30 degrees outside now. It said 32, but now it says 30 degrees. I guess it's getting colder. It does feel a little bit colder. Like when I came out tonight, like I had said that it wasn't too cold earlier today, but it does feel a little bit colder now. Tanya was watching Beautiful Boy, and she said it's very sad. I read the book. I want to see it. If you guys haven't heard of it, they just came out with a movie, and the movie's supposed to be fantastic, but the book was by David Sheff, and S-C-H-E-F-F, I think. And his son actually wrote a book called, he's written several books, Nick Sheff, and his first book, he's written like fiction too, I think, and his first book was called Tweak. So, Beautiful Boy was like David Sheff, he was the dad, telling of his son's kind of descent into meth addiction and getting sober. And then Nick's book, his son, was called Tweak, and it was like about his own meth addiction. And it, like, I think they go and tour together and talk about their like stories, which would be interesting. I would love to hear them speak. I really want to see this movie. I've heard it's really, really good. So, Tanya said, like I said, she said it was sad. When I read the book a couple years ago, it was interesting because I had recommended it to people forever because so many people had told me that it was really good. And, you know, a lot of parents would say to me, like, oh my God, if you're a parent of an addict or alcoholic, you've got to read this, blah, 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 whatever. And, so, a couple years ago, since I've been on BookTube, it was probably in 2017 maybe, I read it. I actually listened to the audible version of it, and I just was like so impacted by that book. Like, I just was really impacted by the book, you know, especially hearing it from my dad's point of view. And I've told this on here before, but like when I got done reading it, I called my dad up and I was like, oh my God, I have this book that you need to read. And he had already read it. He had like read an article about it on like the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times or something. My dad reads all the newspapers. So he was like, I read this article when it first came out and I got it right away. And I was like, you did? And he was like, yeah, I read like he reads like all these addiction memoirs, which I wasn't aware of until that conversation. So anyway, I can remember having this conversation with him, and I was like, you know, and he was like, it really was that bad, you know? And I think the hard thing as an addict or an alcoholic is, you know, once you get sober and you get kind of like a clear state of mind, like, you realize that you are affecting people around you, you know? But you don't really, I think, have any clue, like, truly. I have to turn so slow because I'm afraid that the camera will slide or turn over. It was so funny because people were saying in the comment sections, I know it's hard to believe, but I do read every comment. People were saying that when one person said it and then somebody else commented on it and said they would always hear that in their head now, that when the camera flips over, they say, ouch. So whoever you were, I thought that was hilarious. I was laughing reading that. But anyway, you know, I think as addicts and alcoholics, we know that we affect our family members, but I don't think that we really have any idea to what extent that we affect our family members and loved ones and friends, you know? Like, how fearful they are and what we put them through and, you know, how scary that is for them. And I don't think we really have any idea of what that's like for them. And when I read that book, you know, I had worked with families forever and, you know, heard their stories, and spouses heard their stories, and sat in meetings and heard the stories. But yet, for some reason, that book, because it was so similar, I mean, my dad was always like my chief enabler. And if you haven't read the book, like, one of the great things about the book is like all the things that he talks about, all the things you shouldn't do as a parent that he did. And so really he learned through his own mistakes of like what you shouldn't do if you have a child that's an addict or an alcoholic. And at the end of the book, he talks a lot about it. But what was interesting was, like, I don't know, it's just very much my dad and I story. Like, my dad was just like, you know, until he got educated about addiction, he was just like really like my chief enabler back in the day. And he was so fearful of like me ending up dead that he would have done anything to like protect me, which I think is so similar to a lot of families. And, you know, it's just very, very scary. And we don't really have any idea how much we affect the people around us, you know, how much we affect the family and friends around us. We just like really don't understand it. And it's sad. And I remember reading it and thinking about all the people that I knew that had died of overdoses and drug and alcohol related and, you know, things. And you know, just like their families, it's like they had no kind of resolution to the whole thing. I think especially families that like I had known where they had like literally for years and years and years and years and years and years, and it consumed them, you know, with setting healthy limits and boundaries and being in counseling themselves and, you know, their kids being in counseling and treatment programs and sending them away. And then, you know, all of it starting, you know, at 14 or 15, and then, you know, they're 25, 27, and then, you know, one day they get a call, and it's like, and these are parents that are very active in 12-step programs for friends and family members of alcoholics and addicts, you know, and good support systems, and they've come a long way. And then it's, you know, that's the hardest thing, is like when you are surrounded by it, you know, especially living in a 12-step program, what you know is that people can do everything in the world they're supposed to do, and the addict and the alcoholic may still end up dead. It's very sad to me, you know, and I know sometimes people don't understand why, like, I'm such a huge proponent of 12-step programs. And, you know, the reality is, for me, and this is just my experience, and I can only speak of my experience, I've only seen people, like, truly recover from a hopeless state of mind and body in two ways. By either, I wish I had some water in here. By either entering a 12-step program and actually working a program, you know, and doing some work on themselves, a lot of work on themselves, or by, like, some kind of religious, like going to church or, you know, whatever. And I think the reality is, because, you know, you really, like, if you think of a person that's rather empty anyway, that has a lot of fear, of, you know, anxiety, all kinds of issues, you know, right? And then on top of that, or not on top of that, a predisposition for addiction, you know, like family members. If you take away the drugs and the alcohol, basically what you just have is like that emptiness inside. And you have to kind of fill that with something, you know, something, some kind of hope or something. And like a hobby isn't going to do that. Like, you know what I mean? It's not going to, I mean, for a while, it might give you like some hope or a reason, you know, to live. But over time, like, stamp collecting is really not going to make you take a look at the way that you treated people in your life, you know? And I think the other misconception is that, you know, 12-step programs are religious and spiritual. They're not. I mean, I know a lot of people that are agnostic or atheist that are sober and work 12-step programs. And there's a lot of discussion about that in 12-step programs. So, you know, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a spiritual thing, but I think that for me, it has to be. But I think, like, you know, what do you do with that emptiness inside? You're going to end up filling it with something, you know, whether that's something else that's addictive, or whether, you know, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to fill it with something. So you have to be very careful of that stuff. And I think it's important at the same time that you're always working on inventory and service work and attending meetings, and you have a support network and sponsor and things like that if you're working a program. If you're not, and you're doing something else, well, then I think that it's important to have people that are accountable to you in your life and whatever. And I'm not saying by any means, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, like, you know, I know a lot of people in my personal life that, like, maybe they got sober going to 12-step meetings and now they don't anymore. Maybe they got sober going through treatment or going to jail, you know, and they were heroin addicts, and they're not using heroin anymore, and they're not using anything, right? And they're not in a 12-step program, and they're not going to church. I pass absolutely no judgment on those people whatsoever, right? I think it's fantastic that they have turned their life around and they've gotten those drugs out of they've got the drugs out of their system, you know, and that's not who they are anymore and things like that. But I'm always very worried about those people. Like, what happens in times of stress or crisis? Like, where do you go? Like, oh my God, it slid. So anyway, I don't know, I worry about those people, you know what I mean? Like, what do you do so that you're not numb, or that you're dealing with that stuff emotionally? Because, like, I've learned that it's important for me to deal with things and look at things and address those things in my life and be like, okay, this happened or that happened, and, you know, what's my part in that, and inventory and all this kind of stuff. And I don't know, like, you don't just pick up and become like a hardcore alcoholic or, you know, a pill popper or a heroin addict overnight. Like, there's something inside of us that makes us prone to that. Does that make sense? Like, it does something for us. So when you take the substance away, yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, like, that's great. Like, I'm not saying anything negative about that. And I don't think, like, anybody's any better than anybody else. I worry about those people, you know, like, I worry, like, well, what do you do down the road, you know? And for me, I find that in, you know, support of a sponsor and 12-step meetings and service work and things like that in fellowship. You know, whereas somebody else, like, they might find that in church, or they might find that, I don't know, there's, you know, in whatever other ways that they find it, or some other kind of, you know, I've seen a lot of people, you know, like, really get into, like, working out and completely changing their entire lifestyle. And then, you know, it makes you kind of wonder, well, maybe they weren't addicts or alcoholics to begin with, you know? Maybe they were people that abused substances for a while. And, you know, I think then it begs the question, like, well, could you really just be a substance abuser on heroin? Well, sure, absolutely, I think, you know? I think one thing leads to the next. Maybe you start smoking pot, and then you start eating pills, and, you know, and you're young, and I think, and then over time, like, we live in a different generation than we did, you know, 20 or 30 years ago. You know, like, 20 years ago, it wasn't like you ate a Vicodin and then somebody gave you an Oxy and then you snorted an Oxy and then you were shooting. It wasn't like that. Like, it took a lot longer. I mean, first of all, heroin was not around. Heroin is everywhere now. You know what I mean? And I literally, with one phone call, if I wanted to get heroin tonight, I could. From somebody that I know, you know what I mean? Like, I think they'd be like, what the hell are you doing asking me for that? Sure, but, like, if I really wanted it, do I think that I could get it? absolutely. And I think that's scary, you know, like when I was using, like it was, I mean, I've said this on here, you know, like if heroin was around as much then as it is now, I would be dead. I know I would be dead. I would have used heroin because I wasn't saying no to anything. So the only reason that I didn't, you know, use it was because it was funny because in Trisha's Paytas's newest video, one of her newest videos, she said something in there about that there was like this channel that was making videos about her, and she said something about this recovered this recovered drug addict that just sits around in his apartment, and all these people were speculating that it was me. I mean, I got so many DMs from people being like, Trisha was talking about you in a video, and it was so funny because Chris from The Rewired Soul, and he's a nice guy, he and I have like talked back and forth for a while now. He messaged me on Twitter, and he's like, and I didn't even know that her video was out there because I, you know, hadn't read all these messages and stuff yet. And he said, I just want you to know that people think that she's talking about you, but I'm pretty sure she's talking about me because I've made all these videos about her and Jason Nash, right? So I went to go watch the video, and she's totally talking about him in the video. But it was funny underneath there because people were like, well, Peter's not a drug addict, he's an alcoholic, and he never used drugs. And I'm like, this is like where I don't really care, you know, like the people's facts, but I mean, I don't think it takes a lot of my videos to watch, especially pick any one of my recovery videos where I talk about basically the fact that I was an addict, an alcoholic of the garbage pail type. Like, I basically would use anything that anybody gave me. So it was interesting to me that on that, but like, kind of like the indirect judgment, even there, towards a drug addict versus an alcoholic. Like, well, Peter wasn't an addict, he was an alcoholic. And I'm like, I mean, there's still and I know that they didn't mean it that way, but like, you kind of pick up on those nuances at times, and it's interesting, you know, that there's still like that stigma in our society that, well, if you're an addict, that makes you worse than an alcoholic. No, it absolutely doesn't. A drug is a drug is a drug, you know? And my mom was somebody that like, it kind of took her a while to get that, but once she got it, she really got it. And I remember one time, my mom went to this meeting, and this is a long time ago, and this girl came in. Now, like, old timers in certain programs that are like specific for alcohol, a lot of times feel like that, and this is, I would say, I don't see this at all anymore, but like I would say like 10 years ago, well, 15 years ago, you know, like if somebody identified as like an addict in a meeting that was specifically for alcoholics, like people would say like, there are meetings for you, like this is probably not the meeting for you. I don't ever see that happen anymore. It's just such a mixture everywhere you go, you know what I mean? In fact, like one of my dearest friends is like 82 and has like 40 plus years of sobriety, and you know, he's never, I don't think, ever used anything other than maybe had a, you know, a glass of whiskey, and that was what, you know, he would drink whiskey or something. But like, and went to like some, you know, old bar back in the day. But like, he sponsors all of these guys that are like strictly heroin addicts, and like, it's the coolest relationship, you know, like, cause he doesn't see it as any different. But my mom was at this meeting like years and years, God, years ago, and there was like this young girl that came in, I don't know, she's probably like 20 or something. And, so she came in and she sat down, and like, apparently like, she was like 2 minutes into saying something, and she's like, well, and you know, like blah, 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 this, and said something about heroin, and like somebody said something, and the girl like got up and like ran out of the meeting, and my mom stood up, she was real upset about it, and she like ran after her and talked to her. And she was like, you know, don't ever let anybody not make you feel comfortable, you know, in a meeting, in a 12-step meeting. And my mom was like, but if you'd like to find some meetings that you feel like you'd be more comfortable in, I'm more than willing to help you find that. And that was long before Heroin Anonymous existed, at least in Indianapolis. And my mom helped her find some meetings and stuff. But, you know, like, we got to be careful of that stuff, because, you know, people are dying out there because they don't feel like they fit in anywhere, you know what I mean? And I don't know, there's really, other than how we use it and how we chase it, I think the reasons why, like, I know this won't make a lot of sense to anybody that's like, if you're not an addict or an alcoholic, like, this statement probably won't make a lot of sense to you, but I firmly believe that I was an addict and an alcoholic long before I ever picked up. Like, I firmly believe that you know, that like, I'm gonna sneeze, hold on. Thank you. We talk about, you know, like addiction being a symptom, or the using is a symptom of our addiction. And a lot of the behaviors that go along with it, I had long before I ever picked up a drink or a drug, you know, long before I ever did. I think that's why, like, people don't really understand today, like, in the YouTube world, people that have really, like, they really don't understand addiction and recovery. Like, they really don't get it, right? And they say things like, well, he's a liar, or he's manipulative, or he's this. I don't think people really understand, like how serious those words are to me as a person that is 24 years sober, and how seriously I take working an honest program. And so, like anybody that is in recovery that watches my videos can sit there and watch it and be like, yeah, this shit is important to him. Like, you know, he wouldn't talk about it the way that he does if ... wasn't important to him, you know, like, so it's just ridiculous to me when, I don't know, like, I'm like, you really, okay. Can you see me unpopping my ears because they're popped? But at the end of the day, like, those are things that I have to work out between me and my higher power, my sponsor, you know, and things like that. And I don't know if I said that the way that I wanted to say it. Let me make it clearer. It doesn't really bother me anymore. It's just ridiculous to me, because as a person in recovery, like, honesty is like a fundamental principle of my sobriety. So when people say you're a liar, they're not just saying I'm a liar. What they're saying is, you don't work an honest program. That's how I hear it. And I don't know if that makes sense, but if you're in sobriety, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So when people say those things to me, you know, like, or you're not willing to look at your shit, which is open-mindedness, you know, and willingness. So when I hear those things, it's like, you're not just wanting to point out some faction of my life. What you're really saying is that it's like all a facade. And anybody that comes for me on that level, I'm like, listen. You know what I mean? So but there are always people out there that will think they know what they're talking about. I hope 2019 is a year that we really figure out, you know, how to deal with this heroin epidemic. I really, really hope we do. I hope more money is spent on treatment and viable options for treatment. You know, I used to be, so when I worked in treatment, when I worked in treatment, I was one of the first counselors in Indiana to be trained to work with patients that were taking buprenorphine, which is Suboxone, and I worked with the physician that I was under when I worked in treatment. And back then, Suboxone treatment was so different than it is now. And so I would, like, you know, run the groups and things like that, and then a doctor would monitor it. And that people had to come in and they had to get, like, random drug screens twice a week, and they could only get their Suboxone, like, once a week from the doctor. And they had to do random drug screens on top of that they had to call in to the state. It wasn't even to the doctor. Now, you know, like, I mean, you can get it on the street, you can go to a doctor and all this kind of stuff. And so over time, Like, I really struggled with the whole idea, and I know there's a lot of, I know there's somebody out there watching this vlog right now that's like, well, I'm on Suboxone and it saved my life, and that's exactly it to me. You know, and Suboxone maintenance is not the safest thing in the entire world, and it's a long-term detox. It's a, you know, a lot of people stay on it. In Europe, they use Suboxone and Subutex as long-term, like, anxiety medication. And it's proven to have a lot of other uses for other things. But my issue was that I had so many friends for a while that were manipulating it, because what they would do is they would like use heroin Thursday through Sunday, and then they would use Suboxone on like Monday through Friday so that they could work and things like that. And then I would just, and that would lead to a lot of overdoses, you know, because you were tricking your system, you thought, but you really couldn't. But I think that, like, my opinion has really changed about that over time, you know, and now, like, people can go to doctors, and you don't have to have a special license to, I don't think you have to have a special, I'm so out of it, I haven't worked in the field in forever, but I don't think you have to have a special license to work with people that get Suboxone anymore. And, you know, now I know people that get, like, month advance, you know, whatever. But the thing is that my attitude about it was always like, well, when I got sober, you know, like, we didn't need maintenance drugs to keep us sober. Why do we need them so much today? But the reality is, we didn't have the heroin epidemic that we had. We didn't have the opioid epidemic that we had, you know, like, years ago. And, like, I can remember, oh my God, it slid again. Okay. But I can remember, you know, back in the day, you guys, this camera, ouch. But I can remember back in the day, you know, Suboxone a lot of times was saved for people that had literally had like several failed treatments and just really couldn't stay clean and sober, and it was kind of like a last-ditch effort. But today, because there's not a lot of money for treatment anymore, and insurance companies don't want to pay for treatment, I think what they do is they detox them, like they do a short-term detox, and then they put them on long-term Suboxone maintenance. Because it's kind of like a level system. You go down and go down and go down. It's different than methadone. Like on methadone, because methadone are paid programs, methadone is like supposedly harder to get off of than heroin. I don't know if you know that, but there was a great movie that came out. God, it's probably been 20 years ago. It was on HBO, actually, and it was called Methadonia. But anyway, it talks about like how methadone programs are paid programs, and they make money, and they really don't want you off the methadone. And so that if you go in there and you say, okay, I want to like start weaning myself off methadone, they literally just take you off that day. That's how it used to be. I have no idea how it is today, but that's how it used to be back in the day. And you literally go every day and pay $20, $15 for your methadone. But, and methadone's a lot different than Suboxone and things like that. But back in the day, methadone was like saving some people's lives, you know? Well, today, I mean, we live in a different world. I mean, heroin is everywhere. Literally everywhere, you know? I remember seeing this movie. We, like, watched it when I worked back in the day when I was working there, and then like we would show it to, you know, the patients, and it was called, I think it was called Wasted. And it was actually like an MTV movie. And it was about this, it was based on a true story, and I want to say it was Plano, Texas, and it was these three kids, and the one guy was like a cross-country like runner, and it was like his two friends, and it was like this rich suburb, and they all went to the same high school, and the one guy and girl were like boyfriend, girlfriend, and then it was like the friend. And if you know anything about addiction, they always like say, like, you know, if you keep on using, you'll end up three ways: jails, institutions, or death, right? And so at the end of the movie, one of them's in a jail, one of them's in an institution, and one of them's dead. And it like proved that point in the movie. It's such a tragic movie. It is like a horribly tragic movie. But I can remember watching that, you know, when I worked in treatment. So I don't know, this would have been around, let's say 2000, because I started working there in 95. So let's say if it was like 2000, right? And I can remember watching that movie. Oh my God, one of my favorite movies ever that we used to watch there back in the day was called Her Last Chance. It was with Kelly Martin. Did you guys ever see that movie? And it was about this girl, and she like went in and out of treatment. She was like this horrible alcoholic. I think she used some drugs in the movie too, but it was like a Lifetime movie. And oh my God, I loved this movie. And then at the very end of it, she starts working in treatment. I think it was kind of like my story. That's why I related to it so much. But anyway, I did love that movie. And A Clean and Sober is one of my all-time favorite recovery movies, too. If you've never seen it. With Michael Keaton. Oh my God, it's fantastic. But anyway, it's about a guy that goes to treatment, and the reason he goes to treatment is because he wakes up and this girl that he was partying with is dead in his bed, and he doesn't know what to do, so he goes to treatment because, like, they won't let cops in treatment programs. I don't know if you know that, but, like, if cops come to a treatment program looking for you, like, you're taught to say, like, and now it's a huge deal today with, like, HIPAA, but, like, you know, you're taught to say, like, I cannot confirm or deny that that person's a patient in this hospital. So, like, you can't release any information, and they can't search without a search warrant. I don't even think with a search warrant you're allowed to search a hospital. I don't know the rules about that. But anyway, I can remember talking to, like, my coworkers about this movie back in the day, and we'll be like, and I can remember us saying, like, it will never be like this in Indianapolis. And flash forward, the north side of Indianapolis, which is basically, like, what was shown in this movie, like, you know, nice schools, nice cars that people are driving, nice houses, nice neighborhoods, is literally just heroin central, you know? We have to destigmatize. I mean, we have to take away what people think a heroin addict is like in our country so that we can start meeting their needs. Like, it's really sad. And I think only when we destigmatize it and we start, you know, it's like the same way, like, you know, like this beautiful boy, like when I was talking to my cousin about it, she went and saw it with a friend of hers, and she's like, yeah, but it was like a meth addict. I'm like, Caroline, it's not really any different. She's like, well, I mean, but it's a meth addict. I'm like, I mean, I think we have this perception of what that is in our society, you know, like, okay, there are certain behaviors that are consistent with certain drugs, true, but I could probably line up 5 meth addicts, and 2 of them you wouldn't even know were addicts. One of them maybe would be this kind of mentality of what we think that looks like, and the other 2 would probably not fit it either, you know? So it's like, I don't know. You know, all stereotypes are based on some truth, I think, and then after that, they're kind of embellished. And I think that they're dangerous at times, and I think that, you know, we have to be careful of assuming that all people are a certain way. I don't know. And, like, I was actually noticing something that was going on Twitter, and I don't even know who it was about. It was some, like, big YouTuber. God, I can't remember who it was now. But they made some comment about somebody with addiction. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. It was kind of like hot drama. Because I got a couple messages and people were like, you should talk about this. Excuse me, what was it now? I can't even remember what it was. But people were like, you should talk about this. This is kind of like up your alley. And I was like, that's not cute to me. Like, people that put down addicts and alcoholics are ignorant. I'm sorry, but they just are, you know? And I feel like, you know, in 2018, 2019, I don't think it's a good enough excuse anymore to say, well, I'm not really educated in that stuff, or, you know, like, I don't have any addicts or alcoholics in my family. Every single one of us has somebody in our life that is affected by addiction. Maybe it's not them, but maybe it's not your friend, but maybe it's your friend's sister or your friend's child or whatever, you know? And it's like, I think that we live in a society now where I think it's important for all of us to be educated on some level about addiction, and, you know, and just in a way where we're not speaking ignorantly about it, you know? I don't know. I wonder, like, you know, it was interesting because I've talked about this on here, but it's been a long time since I talked about this. But back in the day, one of my favorite movies was this movie called Long Time Coming. What is that button? I just, oh, that's for my soda. That's for my soda that I don't have. I wish I did that. But back in the day, one of my favorite movies when I came out, and this was just because there weren't really any good gay movies when I came out, except for this like horrible English movie called Maurice, based on a book. I don't even remember who the book was by, but anyway. There just really weren't that many like good gay movies, you know, that you could be like, oh my god, I so relate to this. But there was this movie that came out, and it was called Longtime Companion, and it was about a group of friends, and like these two groups kind of molded together, and it was really about the beginning of the AIDS epidemic, and it like went through like 10 years. I know I talked about it on here because at the very end, there's a song, and like 6 months ago, like I rewatched the movie. I know I talked about it on here because I went and I bought the song, and it's called like Bar, the End of the Road Bar or something like that. But the song is about, well, anyway, it's at the end of the movie, and like all of these characters have died by the end of the movie, you know? And it starts off on Fire Island, and it ends on Fire Island with these two boyfriends. And they're standing there, and he said something like, can you imagine a day where it won't be like this, or it won't exist, you know, like it won't exist anymore. And they turn and they hear this like music, and they turn and they look over the hill, and it's like all of these people that have like passed away are like running over the hill, you know. But like, I don't think that movie is just about that, although I've lost my fair share of friends to AIDS as well. But, you know, I think about that. I think, like, will there ever be a day when, like, people aren't dying from overdoses and addiction anymore? You know, like, all the people that I've lost in my life, and all their families, and boyfriends, girlfriends, you know, sisters, and like, will there ever be a day when it just stops? Like, there is no more of that, you know? It's an interesting question because it's kind of like a question of scruples. Like, if there was ouch. If there was a pill that, like, took away addiction, like solved addiction, right? Would you take it? Like, it's kind of an interesting question. Like, if you play games with other addicts or alcoholics, it kind of always comes up. But, like, here's the double-edged sword to it. It's like, if you did take it, well, then you wouldn't learn everything that you had learned in being sober, right? Like, you wouldn't learn about, you know, you wouldn't have learned about, like, taking responsibility of your life, how to be honest, how to, like, you know, make amends to people, how, you know, like, to do inventory. You wouldn't have met half the people that you met. Your life wouldn't look like it does today. So if you just took a pill, then you wouldn't learn those things, right? And so it's kind of like, it's weird, because then when you look at it from, like, what I was talking about earlier, of, like, feeling this emptiness. But I think today, I sometimes say things on here, and I think that people don't understand what I'm saying because I don't always finish my thought. Because I've noticed recently in my videos, people will be like, well, because you think this way. What was it that I said? And they said, I'm not going to be able to watch your videos anymore because you don't want people that don't. I was like, that's not what I said in that video at all. Like, I was like really surprised. It wasn't a vlog. It was like a Peterisms video. It was like a month ago. I can't remember what it was now, but I was like, that wasn't what I was saying at all about that. So let me say this all the way through. I used to not support Suboxone as, like, people abusing it on the street, okay? And I still don't love that people abuse it. But I would rather have somebody on Suboxone than alive than on somebody not on Suboxone and dead, if that makes sense. So if somebody needs to take Suboxone to stay alive, more power to them. I 100% support it. And that's not my journey, and I don't judge anybody for their journey of what they're on, you know? It's like, there are a lot of people that are like, well, if they're on Suboxone, they're not really sober. I don't know that I necessarily believe that either. I have a lot of friends of mine that go to 12-step meetings and have been sober for a couple years and are on Suboxone, and I believe, even though they're on a maintenance drug, that they are sober. Because that's what they believe, you know, and it's their life, not mine. So, so I just want to clear that up. But, you know, like, at the expense of losing one more person, yes, give us a pill that takes away addiction. I don't care what lessons we miss out on learning in the world. Do you know what I mean? I don't want any more people to die as a result of this disease. It breaks my heart. I honestly feel like Tanya texted me about somebody tonight that we used to know, you know? Not that they're dead, but she was like, you know, there's just always something, you know? It's like, I don't know, it's heartbreaking. And it does kind of feel like that to some degree, you know? It's like at the end of the movie where it's just these two guys and they're the only ones that are left, right? It does kind of feel like that. And like, I feel like with Tanya sometimes it feels like that. Like, you know, there's a lot of new people, yeah, and there's a lot of people that have been around that I know, but like with our group of friends, like, I don't know, it sometimes does feel like that. Like you're, I don't know, like, it's just, it's a weird feeling, you know? I wish I could remember what somebody said, because about something that I said, 'cause I was like, no, that's not what I meant by that at all. And I meant to address it on here or on there, and I can't remember what it was now. Maybe I did address it, I just don't remember. You know, like that stuff that they say, like when you get older, you like start forgetting things? Like that is the truth, okay? Like I don't necessarily forget things, but like I'll forget that I knew them until like the next day, and then like I'll notice a note and I'll be like, oh yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like as you get older, you're like that. Like you don't like misplace your keys and stuff like that, really. I mean, I don't. Like I feel like that's something that you would always do, like misplace your keys or wallet. Like Alex and I always put our keys in the same spot anyway, so. But, you know, like, it's not stuff like that necessarily. It's more like, I don't even really know how to explain it. It's like, like you'll be talking to somebody on the phone and then they'll ask you about something and you'll be like, oh no, not really. And then they'll say, but you just, you know, and then you're like, oh yeah. I don't know, it's just kind of funny. Is that getting older? I don't know what that is. I was going to take that ginkgo biloba stuff, and I did for a while, but I remember I got some on here, and I don't think that it works. I really don't. Oh my God, my hummus that I got tonight was so good. Oh, by the way, if you guys are hummus eaters, and I didn't get it tonight, I got the red peppers, I think that's what it's called, I don't know. But if you guys like hummus, that brand, that Sombro brand or Sombro or whatever, it's like the main hummus brand. But if you go and you like tacos, try the taco. It's called Taco Inspired. It tastes like what do you call it? Taco salad. It is so good, you guys. It is really, really good. I got it the other night. Alex like won't try anything new. He's like somebody like, he's like that person that won't ever try anything. And I'm like, you should try this. You would really like it. No, I'm good. He goes, no, I'm good. I go, why won't you try it? He goes, oh, no, I'm good. I don't want to try it. I'm like, you're missing out on my Taco Tico Tuesdays, okay? Because it is good. Speaking of which, Taco Bell. I know sometimes people get really tired of hearing my, you know, recovery stories and stuff, and I just, you know, for me, it's a constant reminder of where I came from, and it's important for me to talk about, and it's also important for me to share. I think it doesn't even really matter if you agree with me or if you don't agree with me about things. That's okay. We can all disagree, okay? We can disagree about whether or not you think it's a disease or you don't think it's a disease, and we can disagree on all these kinds of different facets of what recovery is, and do you need to go to meetings and do you don't need to go to meetings. And this is not anything that I want to fight with anybody over. I don't care to fight with anybody about all of it, okay? But let's try to help people from going in the future. Let's not fight with each other. Let's not, split hairs about what our belief systems are and what is recovery and what's not. That's why I think as I gotten older in recovery, I've softened to a lot of that stuff, because I'm just like, and it makes me sad. It's not like, I'm judging. It just makes me sad because I want people to be successful. I want people to have successful lives, and it scares me. I don't want friends of mine to die. I don't want people that, even if it's somebody that I don't know, to die. I don't want anybody to experience that. But I think to get there, I think that we have to stop fighting amongst ourselves about, what is right or wrong. And if somebody makes an ignorant statement, maybe trying to educate them. And if they're not open to that, I don't know, but like, I think once we really start looking at this as an epidemic, not just in the moment when somebody dies to say, wow, isn't that really sad? Okay, next, let's move on to the next thing. But to really learn, ouch, times 100. But to really learn from what has happened, like really, really learn, and to say, this is really scary. This is really sad. What do we need to do about it? And maybe I need to take a look at my own using behavior. Maybe I need to take a look at so-and-so's using behavior so that that doesn't happen to them, or it will, And it scares me. It makes me sad. And I think we have to stop arguing about the differences and come together to just help save lives. And that's what it's all about for me. I mean, it really is. At any expense, So... all right, you guys, don't flip over. Don't flip out and don't flip over. I am almost home, and I am going to go inside, and I'm going to change and put like a hoodie on or something. And maybe I'm just probably going to wear that old shirt. Didn't I ever say that? There, let's seam it with that. My hair looks so corny today, doesn't it? It's kind of swooping over. But anyway, I'm going to get off here, make it a little bit shorter of a vlog. I will be back tomorrow. And I love you guys, and I will see you then. Bye.